Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all well. I hope you're better than me. We're absolutely melting here in the UK. It is boiling hot still. It's been the hottest it's ever been for the past 2 weeks. Crazy temperatures over here. So grab yourself a drink, alcoholic or maybe not. Grab yourself some snacks and let's get into this. I found an interview that Vonda Knox had done. For those of you that are unaware of who Vonda is Nate's mother. Written a book, Beyond Tragedy, a story of Shanann Watts. So you've even got Nate's mum, Vonda, trying to cash in on this. So it's not just podcasters. Everybody tries to cash in on events like this, but we get the blame for it, don't we? Anyway, I digress. So Vonda wrote a book. With his guidance and wisdom, Shanann came to realise that she and her 3 children had been brutally murdered, and she now must reconcile herself to the events that were thrust upon her physical life and the new journey of self-realization and wonder that had begun. So I don't know whether this is non-fiction or whether this is pure fiction, because it sounds like pure fantasy to me. So people moan about YouTubers exploiting cases. You can't get much more exploitative than this, because she's making stuff up. It looks like, I could be wrong. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong in the comments and I'll apologize. But she's writing this from a point of view from when Shanann's passed away. And she's writing it from Shanann's point of view. She's putting thoughts and feelings into it that were from Shanann when Shanann had passed. So that don't jive for me, I'm afraid. Anyway, I found an interview from her because she was saying that she was always around when the family were home and she was always at Nate's house. So I haven't seen this interview. I've seen one interview from her before, but it was more about paranormal stuff. I haven't watched this one, so let's have a look at it together, shall we? I'm assuming it's her YouTube channel, Rebecca, in the top left there. Go and watch the full video there. I'm only going to pull out the interesting bits due to fair use. We're just going to look at the stuff that's interesting, and I'll cut out all the fluff. Let's go. Oh, before we start, can I just wish one of my members, Desi, a speedy recovery. Also, Desi's been poorly recently, and she is now home from hospital. I hope everything went well, and I hope you're okay, Desi. Okay, let's get into it.
Hi. Hi, Vonda.
Hello, how are you all?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Honestly, we feel privileged.
How is everybody doing?
I'm good.
I'm doing really great.
Carrie.
Carrie. Honestly, Vonda, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and agreeing to do this with us.
For a really good cause. I'm very happy to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if there's enough in the stream yet for me to say it. Well, I am going to monetize this video. Once we're done having our chat, then I'll end.
I don't know what the cause is. Is it to promote her book? Or is it to promote a charity or something? I can't find anything underneath where the description is promoting a charity, so I'd imagine it's to promote her book. No, I am wrong. I apologize. It's to raise awareness for lupus charities. At the end of the video, when I'm editing, I'll put in the links for your local lupus charities, okay?
In this stream, monetize this one, and then as soon as the revenue comes through, I'll show you what was made on the stream, and then that will go into the lupus fund. But just to let you know, I'll end this live before I go on to have a little chat with the other girls, because I know you probably won't want part of that. So, Erin.
Yes.
Thanks for so much for sorting this. Vonda, I'm so happy that...
What happened then? She wasn't happy with that, was she? She completely blanked her then. Let's go back to that, because I only just caught that at the end. She was having a laugh and a joke with her, and she got no response of her. Literally totally blanked her. Let's have a look at that again. That was funny.
I think everybody's on. Hi. Hi, Vonda.
Hello, how are you all?
Good. Thank you so much for joining.
As soon as Rebecca finishes the intro, look at Vonda's face and then look back at Rebecca. This is hilarious.
Joining us. We really appreciate it.
Honestly.
They're all so pleased to see her, and Vonda couldn't give a toss.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough in the stream yet for me to say it. Well, I am going to monetize this video. Once we're done having our chat, then I'll end this stream, monetize this one, and then as soon as the revenue comes through, I'll show you what was made on the stream, and then that will go into the lupus fund. But just to let you know, I'll end this live before I go on to have a little chat with the other girls, because I know you probably won't want part of that. now, Erin.
Yes, yes,
Thanks
yes.
for so much for sorting.
She just totally blanked it at the end. Oh my god. Talk about leaving you hanging. Oh my god. Well, that was a good start to it, wasn't it?
Vonda, I'm really, honestly, I'm so happy that you're on with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And I heard that you wanted me to read a little bit.
Oh, she is awake then.
Yeah, that would be so good, and I'm sure the viewers. I know we don't really have a lot on this channel, but I'm sure they'll all pop in at some stage and things. So, if you want to go, it's up to you. Do you want to do some questions first? Do you want to do your book first? I think book first.
Let me read a little bit.
Sure.
I kind of wanted to get into the introduction just a little bit, if that's okay.
Sure, absolutely.
It said, the house next door, the Watts house, is seeing countless inquisitive visitors. Pictures, videos, documentaries, podcasts, and endless speculation saturate the internet and the news outlets. People drive across state lines or across the country, motivated by a need to connect with Shanann, and quite possibly every emotion one can think of has been linked to this location in this tragic story. Whatever one thinks about energy and how it works, the house on Saratoga Trail in Frederick, Colorado has been inundated with it. I have often felt the presence of those who have passed on one level or another. There are untold interpretations and perceptions of the afterlife. Is communication between realms possible? Is this only in my mind? Who is to say? I'm sharing my experience and the story that has come to me. You, as a reader, have the right and the responsibility of formulating your own opinion. So I wanted to start with that, to say that
That's always good to start with.
Very good. I loved it.
this is my perception and my point of view and my experience. And I'm not advocating that anybody embrace these beliefs. This is something that occurred to me. And so.
Take from that Vonda is probably quite spiritual. So it'd be interesting to see her point of view.
Yeah, I was hooked on the book the first time I started reading it. I could not put it down. It was really well done.
Thank you.
I haven't got to read it, so I'm happy to hear a little bit because I've heard so much about it.
Okay.
And I am going to get to.
It's interesting when she's given the option whether or not to start with talking about her book or talking about the tragedy or taking some questions, that she goes straight in there for promoting the book. It's not the way around I would have done it, but horses for courses and all that, I suppose. At least talk about it first, wouldn't you? Give some sort of insight and what it was like to live there and what they were like as a family, and at least put something nice across first before you go straight in promoting your book. But there we are. That's just me, I suppose.
To read it just as soon as I can, Vonda. I think I messaged you once asking, and I think you pointed me in the direction to the book, but I will have to follow that book for sure.
Right. So it was, this was just, do you want me to?
This is Nate's mum, remember? Personally, she probably knew Shanann personally. If not, she would have seen her. I mean, she knows her well enough to write a book about it, so I think it's just a bit in poor taste. I haven't read the book, but, you know, I'm not against talking about it, obviously, but have a little bit more compassion.
Start with kind of my experience of how I came to write the book. And
that's the question.
Oh, great. Perfect question. Yes.
okay. So clearly this was an incredibly traumatic event. Let me take off my glasses. So it was really traumatic for the family, for the neighborhood, for the kids. It was really traumatic for the children in the neighborhood. Some of the kids had night terrors. Some had separation anxiety. They couldn't sleep in their own rooms. And it was just a lot. And there was a lot of chaos at the beginning. And so every time you go outside, it's like, do you have a statement? Or the press was here, the police were here. And so it was just a lot.
Did Bella and Cece have a lot of friends within that couple of roads? I know there was a splash pad and there was probably opportunities for Shanann and stuff to meet people there with kids. But, you say that the children were having night terrors and stuff. Was that because they knew Bella in...
What children were having night terrors? Why would they as children, be told to what had gone on? Surely the adults would shield them from the gory details. Surely they would be able to say to their kids that, I don't know, what would you say to your kids without lying? You don't really want to lie to your children, obviously, but you're not going to give them all the gory details. If they're really young, they don't really need to know. You could just say that they've moved. If they're really young, that they've moved house. If they're a little bit older, what do you say? But you wouldn't tell them things that would cause them to be up at night. I think she may be embellishing a little bit there, but what do I know? I wasn't there. I'm not going to be picky and judgmental. I'm just looking at it logically.
CC on a personal level, or it's just literally all the chaos surrounding it?
I think part of it was there were children that knew them, but they were their own age. And so they would go on play dates and they knew them from their little school and things like that. But the other children just heard the stories. And, no matter how hard you try to protect your kids, other kids talk, parents talk, and that's just a really...
That is true. You would only need one set of parents to be talking about it in front of children, and it would soon get round. I didn't take that into account, so that is true.
They don't know how to process yet. I mean, adults are still trying to process this through.
Yeah, but we can't do it.
And so it was a lot for the kiddos, to hear in the neighborhood that a daddy killed his children, and that's like, what do you do with that? Where do you put that?
Yeah.
And so, And then I haven't spoken with people that actually did play dates with Shanann. I've just spoken with the neighbors in this general area, and the experiences that their kids had.
How, when the Netflix documentary came out, was there like an influx of interest as opposed to before? I always wondered about that in the neighborhood. It just seemed like, oh, that's going to make it research again.
So when the documentary, after the Netflix came out and was on a top 10 list, I would come home and there would be 5 cars at a time waiting to take their turn to go up on the porch and take a selfie or take a picture and part in the neighborhood in the back, that's actually a private drive.
That's mental to me. That's crazy that people would want to go drive up there, take a selfie, and then bugger off. That's mental. If that's the type of thing that you feel that you need to do, you need a psychiatric evaluation. It's insane behavior.
It's not a street.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I thought it was like a little cul-de-sac.
No, it's a private drive, so it's next to people's garages.
Oh, goodness.
They've since people have moved out because they're like, they're going to run into my car. And then in the front, one of the main concerns was that people would drive through so fast. They would come in like they're like looking around. Is
it a private drive? From what I remember, it's just a road that goes all the way around. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've changed it.
And so they're little kids playing, riding their bikes or scooters. And so they're like that. They put up signs and the neighbors, but they have all their little children out there.
Yeah.
They have that much traffic when there used to not be any.
Still a living, thriving neighborhood. They forget that it's not just like an empty lot or something. So.
And there have been people, actually, I just received a picture today, somebody that went in the backyard. So I would recommend to everyone, if you park across the street and look, that's not private property. But if you go in the backyard, then the Frederick Police they will give you a citation.
Don't say that. You're basically telling people to go across the road and park up. You're giving them the green light. Just tell people to stay away. Do not go near the house. They should have knocked it down, really. If it had been in Britain, they probably would have knocked it down.
It's trespassing.
Should be a memorial garden or something like that. The housing developers should have bought it back and should have just bulldozed it and made it into a memorial.
Right. So you don't just get to go back there and, take things and...
Like you've seen certain people doing, like it's a little attraction. Some people literally think it's a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Amityville house or like the Lizzie Borden house. They kind of have people just always constantly going by. It's
right. I personally feel it's on a much higher level than any of those. So because of social media, it wasn't really that common back then. But now, because everything's on social media, the case is hitting like 1,000 times more people than it would have like 20, 30 years ago. And that, I don't think it's going to die down anytime soon.
I mean, there are people out there every day. And so that was my next thing, was that even when, time was going by, and we should feel better about things, or it's just difficult for me. I can't escape it because every time I go in the backyard, my porch is just right next to it. And so I go out in the backyard, this little swing set is right there. And they finally came and took down the weeds. So they send somebody out once a month to weed whack. All the grass is done. So it's kind of a mess.
What happened to the tree that was planted out the front?
So the trees, there's a tree by the driveway that's still there.
No, not that one. Didn't Shanann put one in the middle of the grass?
There's some bushes out there. I don't know that there's a tree out there.
I don't remember.
Maybe that was something totally different. I always thought there was a tree in the middle of the grass.
The bushes are good. We had quite a bit of rain, but the weeds were like 3 feet tall in the backyard. a couple days ago. So they're gone now. But so anyway, it was really difficult for me to escape this and not think about it all.
She likes to let us know that it was difficult for her, doesn't she? That's twice she's really emphasized the fact that it's difficult for me. So does she live next door? Does she live down the road? Or does she just pop in and see Nate? Why is it difficult for her? And I'm not trying to be horrible. I'm just... People just love things to be about themselves, don't they? And if you're the type of person that wants to write a book about this, I mean, go ahead and write a book where you pretend to be, or not pretend to be, where you're narrating thoughts that come from Shanann when they haven't come from her. That's what I don't like. And her pretending to be Shanann and what Shanann would think if she passed away, which we would never ever know. Now, I haven't read the book. I'm just going on what she's just said herself. So it's a bit strange to me. Put in the comments what you think. And nobody go over to Vonda or message her or any of that sort of crap. There's no need for all that. This is just another part of the Chris Watts puzzle. And I hadn't seen this, so I thought I would bring it to you guys.
All the time. And so it was like just, and then after that, about 6 to 9 months after that,
2 happy meals. I said 3, I was wrong.
very seriously about whatever was going on in his mind.
Well, I can say it gave me sleepless nights, and I'm all the way across over in England, and I have sleepless nights. You know, it's really affected me, and I've sat here day after day after day crying for Shanann, Bella, and Cece and Nico, and I've never met them, never spoke to them, but my spirit feels connected with them.
I wouldn't go that far. It hasn't affected me to where I broke down crying, but when I've gone over the oil tanks and I've done it day after day, and I've researched day after day, and especially when I was putting a video out every day, just the whole mentality of true crime, it does catch up with you in the end. And I had to have a break for a few days, but not to the point where I broke down crying. It's sad, it's tragic.
And that's why I'm glad that you've done that book, because I know it's all spiritual, and I really respect that.
Well, thank you. And that was one reason why I went ahead and wrote the book. And it's like, I do not want to talk about Chris or the case. So people who are disappointed in the book, it's because there's nothing new, which there's not. It chronicles it, but it's also written so that somebody can pick it up that's never heard of the case and know what I'm talking about. So it kind of goes to differing points of view from Shanann to Chris, and it interacts, and and it can be read as allegory, a metaphor, and anyway, I felt compelled to. I just started asking her questions, because I was like inundated with with sadness. And it's like, well, what actually happened to you, and who met you? And
she doesn't claim to be a medium, does she, or have psychic powers by any chance? I hope not.
Just things that you think of, that everybody thinks about.
I know she released a video at one point, and it was after the murders, obviously, but it was orbs that were flying around your bedroom. Now, 9 times out of 10, orbs flying around your bedroom or a building that you're filming in, it's just dust. Normally, if you've got orbs flying around your house or your bedroom, it means that it needs to go clean because it's dust. That's why I haven't covered that video. If I can find the video, I'll put it at the end. But if I don't put it at the end, just Google Vonda Knox orbs Shanann Watts, and there's a video of orbs in her bedroom, apparently. Am I saying that there's no such thing as orbs? No, not at all. They do exist. I think they exist anyway. Just don't see why they would be in Vonda's bedroom. If anything, they would be in the property next door. So take that as you will.
It's like, what's on the other side? And I've had so many experiences like that. And I've heard the girls, and I don't expect anybody, I'm not asking anyone to believe me. This is my particular thing.
That's your personal journey. That's right.
And my experience does not require anyone's belief. It's my experience.
Yeah.
So, it's just something that happened to me, but it has for years. And so my family was like, well, of course you heard him, that's what you do. And so I started thinking about the book, and then, so I've had clairvoyant experiences to where I saw something occur.
There we go. I wondered when it was going to come up. What did I just say? Okay, so let's see how much of these psychic abilities she's going to say that she's got now. It's very, very dodgy, I think, to claim that you're clairvoyant or a medium or psychic, especially when you've got monetary gain. She's got a book to promote. I was hoping she wasn't going to go down this road, but she has. And they're all grifters. Do psychics exist? I think that they do exist. I think that there are people there with a special gift, and they have psychic abilities. And I think that all psychics aren't made equal. I think some are better than others, but the ones that go on TV, the ones that promote books, the ones that do it out in the open, I think are grifters and charlatans. The ones that do it on the quiet are the real ones. I don't even think it's a bit like if you look into the Stargate program that the CIA used to run and remote viewing and all that sort of stuff, without going too deep into woo-woo and juju land and voodoo and all that sort of black magic and all that. But if you look into the Stargate program that the CIA used to run, if you used anything like that, psychics, remote viewing, anything like that, anything spiritual, if you used it for basically personal gain, it wouldn't work. And they figured out that 60% of the times they could get it accurate. They could project visions, say being sat here in this room here, and they could remote view somewhere across the world or even on a different planet. I mean, it's hard to prove that it works on a different planet, but if you look back in the day when I think it was the Russians were building a submarine, and one of the guys that was working for the CIA, he was doing remote viewing, and obviously there's a way and protocols on how to do it, but he could see from this office, just by going into his mind, that the Russians were building a huge submarine, a massive submarine. And when they went and looked at the satellite photos, there was a submarine there. There's more to it than that. There was going to be a time and a date and a date of launch, and there was a huge hangar that they remote viewed as well. But my point is, it's possible. The problem is when you do it for financial gain, when you do it for personal gain, it doesn't work. So I think the real ones would do it on the quiet. The ones that do it financial gain and personal gain are charlatans and grifters, because I don't think it would work. I think it's got the same spiritual aspect to it, but I can't tell you what to believe and what not to believe. So I'm saying that there is psychics. I totally believe that, but just not in this instance. Now, let's see how far and how deep she wants to go into this.
And I've heard the girls, and I don't expect anybody, I'm not asking anyone to believe me. This is my particular thing.
That's your personal journey, that's all.
And my experience does not require anyone's belief. It's my experience.
Yeah.
So, it's just something that happened to me, but it has for years. And so my family was like, well, of course you heard them. That's what you do. And so I started thinking about the book, and then, so I've had clairvoyant experiences to where I saw something occur in the future many times. Wow. And so I started getting these visuals, and that's where kind of my character Speaks with Stars came from. And then I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning hearing this dialogue, and I'd be like, wow, okay. And then, so I've written since I was in college. I have another book.
I hope she doesn't claim to speak to them. I hope not.
When you write, just like when you sing or when you dance or whatever, there's just something in your soul that needs to do it. And if you're not doing it, then it just taps you on the, all the time in the brain and says, why aren't you writing? Why aren't you writing?
When you were born to do something, you just got to do it.
Yeah, you have a passion for something, and when you're not doing it, it kind of won't leave you alone.
And this is why I don't mind people calling me crazy, because literally Shanann is my passion. And I always take something from Shanann, and she always said, find your purpose and run with it. Right. And spiritually, I found my purpose, and that is why I like to make my videos about Shanann, just because spiritually, again, I feel connected to her, as lots of us do.
If that's your purpose in life, to make videos about Shanann, more power to you. If it's a positive thing and it's not hurting anybody, fair play, you carry on. If it's giving you a meaning to get up in the morning and do what you do and make videos, then go for it. I'm not going to knock that.
We go back to like the Lupus Foundation and the fact that she was she had a chronic illness, and that's so difficult to deal with. And you wake up, you have chronic pain. You feel like your body is like deceiving you, and you're like, okay, what are we going to do today? And everything I watched about her, everyone I spoke to regarding her, said how she just conquered that. You know, she learned to deal with it.
Is lupus painful? I don't know much about it. If she's in chronic pain, surely that would be difficult to deal with. I've had a back injury for years, and the pain from it is sometimes it's unbearable. And the doctors won't give you anything long term for pain like that, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But sometimes it is like a niggling pain, and then other times I can't move. And sometimes it debilitates you. It's really, really debilitating thing to have. So if she had chronic pain from lupus, and I'm not questioning it, I'm not here to question whether she had lupus or not, because I've seen the rumours. I mean, would that turn up in an autopsy? Would lupus show up in an autopsy? Would there be any telltale signs that would come out in an autopsy? I've got the autopsies, but I just won't read them live on air. I just think it's distasteful for me to do that. I've got the autopsies. I might go through them one day and just put them up for people that are interested, but I'm not going to talk through them and explain everything. I mean, there was alcohol in the system, but the DA already came out and said that that was due to decomposition. So you have to be very careful with what you're putting out there. If I just came out with the autopsy and said, look, there's ethanol or there's alcohol in her system there, and I didn't also add that you can get that from a decomposing body, I think it's very dangerous, and it's very, very destructive to be able to do that and not inform people of the facts. I think it's very dangerous to put misinformation out there, especially when things can hurt people and the truth isn't put out there clearly, which is why these AI channels, I don't know how they get away with it, because a lot of this stuff that they put out there is wrong. And I know I'm not going to go on a rant about AI now today in this video, but it was only yesterday I watched, well, I didn't watch it because I won't watch them, but I came across a video when I was researching something, and the guy was talking like he was in prison with Chris, and he was getting these facts from Chris directly. It's mental. So anyway, and I don't know how people can watch the same crap over and over on them channels. I really struggle sometimes to put a video together because everybody wants a Chris Watts video. Every time I do a video on something else, I've done a video on Grace Millane. Great case. About 300, 400 people watched it, if that. But I struggle to put a video together sometimes about Chris Watts because there's so much been done on it. So I try and keep it fresh. For some reason, YouTube just won't put my other videos in front of the same amount of people as it does with the Chris Watts videos. And I know that for a fact because I've checked the analytics. It just seems to put the Chris Watts videos in front of 5 times as many people as any other video that I've done. And it's frustrating. It's doing quite well though. 500, 600, 700 people are listening to the podcast. If you're enjoying the podcast, the audio only podcast, put in the comments, because I go out my way to do those extra. They're more for if you just want to put something on in the background and listen, and if you just want to stick it on and fall asleep to it. That's why I started doing the podcast. So if you enjoy those, put it in the comments for me. It'd mean a lot.
She decided to look at the bright side and to offer something to the world and to say, hey, I'd like to support you. I would like to help you out with this.
Yeah.
You know,
she was great with it. Anything she tried, she was great at everything, in my opinion. I think anything she touched, she smashed it, and that's what I love about Shanann.
I think so. And
I like how I like how she called it health challenges and didn't actually name what she had. She wasn't harping on the exact.
Yeah. Yes, she was very candid. She was a very open, honest person. And so for like some of these conspiracy theories and some of these people that are coming out, in 2019, in the summer, Frank Rusek came and he stayed with us, and he had to fly all the way across the country and stand in front of her house and ask people to stop harassing his family. Yeah, we had a conversation about some of.
When it starts involving the families like that, I think that's when it goes way too far. To have to defend your family in court against a YouTuber for harassing your family is going way too far. And nobody should be subject to harassment. YouTubers shouldn't be subjected to it. The family shouldn't be subjected to it. Nobody should be. You can have a difference of opinion, but there's ways of going about it, and there's ways of putting your point across. But some of the stuff that was going at the Ruzicks was pure hate. I just think you can still have a difference of opinion from everyone else, though. You just don't need to fall out over it. People don't need to argue about it.
Some of the things that they said, and I was just stunned. I'm like, who thinks this stuff up? You know, it's just like, what? It just is very sad to me that people feel compelled to to go there. You know, do something like that.
Especially if you can sit in as a grown man, cry, you know, really, really pour his heart out and tell you that really affected him every single day. You're adding to his grief, and then to just go at that, you attack that statement and you attack anything related to it. You just, I don't know, these people aren't normal in my opinion. They're just not normal. So
I think there's a culture. I work in sociology and cultural anthropology. And I think that there's a phenomenon occurring right now, not just in the cyber world and the YouTube world, but throughout society, and where it's like people have given themselves a permission slip.
Like I say, no one deserves hate and being attacked, but the other side of it is, if you want privacy, you know, you're entitled to that, have your privacy. But I mean, once you get people involved like Netflix and they start doing documentaries, and you give the approval for that, you can't turn around 6 months later and moan that people are interested in the case. You can't set up a Facebook or a YouTube channel around the fact of the case, or using Shanann to get in viewers, to get in people, to get eyes on your channel or your Facebook page, and then cry about it later on, especially when you're promoting stuff and trying to gain financially from the same set of viewers. You can't do that. You can't play it one way and play it the other way. You can't, you know, you can't have it both ways. Like, but personal attacks and vendettas and all the rest of it, there's no need for that.
They can say anything they want. They can be as mean as they want, and they can produce information that's not substantiated, and they don't, for some reason that baffles me.
It's absolutely brutal sometimes. If you're a public figure or you put yourself out there, it is absolutely brutal. If you want to last on the internet, on YouTube, you've got to have thick skin, because I tell you now, the amount of shit that I get sent personally attacking me, and I'm not alone, everyone gets it, all the creators get it. Zawoki was getting death threats at one point that he had to get the FBI involved. Only imagine what the family were getting through from the crazies. I mean, most of the people are fine, but you do get a select bunch, cases concerned, that brings out the crazies, the cray-crays. I'll give you a story, for instance, right? I've even had one of my members, who was a member with me for a while, paid member now. I was on a different channel watching a video, and this certain person was slagging me off in the comments. Now, having a difference of opinion is one thing. I can cope with that. Slagging me off in the comments to another creator and being personal, and then being shocked because I see it and then I say something and I call her out on it. I think she thought that I wouldn't see it. Like anything, I'm going to call it out. I was thinking of doing a video on it, actually, but I didn't bother in the end. I couldn't be asked. I thought people like that just want a bit of fame. So I thought, no, I'm not going to bother. But what I said to the person was, like I just said, having a different opinion is fine. But don't go personally attacking me. Don't go slagging me off in another creator's comments. If you've got a problem, email me. No, don't put that in there, because everyone will be emailing, you're a dickhead. So I said a difference of opinion is fine. We can still have a difference of opinion and still be civil to each other and still get on. So what I said to her was, if you're going to personally attack me and still be a member, then I'm not interested in that. So she said, oh, well, you were interested when I made a membership payment to you every month, and you were interested when I sent you $40 the other month. I was like, what? I said, well, okay. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I don't want your money. You've got a different opinion from me. That's fair enough, but I don't want someone's money that is slagging me off. I said, you can have your money back. So I refunded her money back, refunded her $40 back. She knows who she is. All because she, for some reason, was upset with me. But like I say, difference of opinion is one thing. Personal attacks is something totally different. I don't want you in here if you're going to do that. And if you do it, not just about me, if you do it to one of the other girls and try and turn the place into a toxic place, I won't stand that either. I've already chucked someone out for doing that in the past. The best thing is they were surprised when you find out. So those two incidences, both people were refunded and both people were kicked out. So it goes to show you that even members can turn on you just from a difference of opinion. And if you're wondering who I'm talking about, I'm not going to name them, but I'll say the letters G for one of them, and I'll say the letter A for the other one. And I'm not naming names, just in case people think, is that me? If you're watching this, then it's not you, obviously, because they've been blocked. You fits, though, eh? Anyway, let's carry on.
That there's any kind of accountability.
Right.
And that
There's just no moral about it. Nobody in their right mind would do what some of these other people are doing to a grieving family already, especially when you can take the person who caused this, you can take a look at their life and rip that to shreds. I don't understand the concept of going after victims.
Yeah.
It's very weird, isn't it?
I've studied religions and cultures for years, and it's just interesting to me that anyone would think that there's nothing larger than them that's going to hold them accountable.
Yeah, of course.
Even if, it doesn't matter what religion you believe in, or
Religion is probably the biggest cause of war that there is. But I'm not going to go down that road.
than you out there somewhere in the universe. And
it's right and wrong, isn't it?
it's completely. And there's that's, your morality and your ethics. And we're just kind of on a free-for-all right now. So it's
They really are.
And it's gotten worse since COVID, for sure. I think people have gotten more anxious and angry, so I feel like it's kind of ramping up from that, which is unfortunate, but...
Well, it's also sad because they're depleting their own energy.
Yeah.
You can feed yourself, you can feed your soul with goodness, or you can just feed your ego with being angry and mean-spirited.
Right.
And, when people do that, I think it depletes them. So
People have to be like that. They have to be negative. They have a negative energy about them, and you have to get rid of those people out of your life because they'll just constantly drag you down, and negative energy around you is no good. It causes stress, and stress is a huge problem, especially the older that you get. We all just want an easy life at the end of the day, don't we?
Yeah, and so I think that. And I can read a little bit. I was going to read you a little bit about Speaks with Stars, if that's...
Oh, sure. Yeah, that was a great character. I really enjoyed him.
I
Very liked it.
Is Carrie? Oh, Carrie's muted.
She's muted?
Yep.
Oh, no, Carrie.
No, she should have been muted. Hold on, guys. If I really mute Carrie, I couldn't. No, she's muted us. No, she's... Oh my God, Carrie, I muted you. I'm so sorry.
Poor Carrie. Well,
I
don't know if Carrie knows what's going on down there. She's in a world of her own. She doesn't even know what she's here for, I don't think. She thinks she's watching Home and Away or something. She's not even on the same planet as the rest of us, I don't think. She's just sat there smiling.
It still says muted. Come on, no. No, she's got me on mute now. Carrie, I am so sorry.
I'm having issues with my sound. I'm sorry.
There we go. I thought Carrie was mute then. Like mute as in deaf and dumb and can't talk.
No, you go for it.
Okay, so Speaks with Stars is the character that I saw.
Hi.
Speaks with Stars is a character that I saw in my mind's eye.
I'm getting a lot of feedback.
She hasn't spoke all the way through it, and now she's interrupting.
She's on a delay, Wanda, I think.
Gotcha. I can wait.
No, catch up on that. It's you now, Wanda. She said go ahead.
All right, I'm good. So Speaks with Stars is my character with her deep sadness and her overwhelming need to find her daughter. He could feel Bella's presence even though he did not know where she was. Some kind of extraordinary tragedy had happened to this woman and her children. Speaks with Stars. Can you hear me?
Speaks with Stars is the spirit guide. Why hasn't he got a normal name? What a stupid name. Speaks with Stars. What a stupid fucking name. Sorry.
Experience had been revealed. His fire needed to be high, his song strong, and his drumming powerful. Speaks of stars and held deeply from his pipe. He began the mysterious dance, his song echoed loudly, and his drum kept the rhythm of the movements as he slipped into a trance. And that's all I'm going to leave. I'm going to just leave you with that little piece.
Thank you, Anna.
I was like, oh, I can't wait for more.
That means absolutely nothing to me, that bit. What she just read. I'm not going to go on about it too much because I don't want to seem to be moaning all the time. Let's move on to the next bit. Poor old Carrie, she didn't know what the hell was going on then, did she? And then she started interrupting all the time. Anyway, at one point, come back. Ta-da! I'm back.
Now, where can we buy the book then, Vanda? Do you want to tell everybody where we can buy it? Because I know I'm definitely going to go. I'll get it within the next 2 weeks for sure.
It's on Amazon.
I hope she hasn't followed the Sherilyn Cadle School of Publishing Books, because she'll have it pulled off the shelves within a couple of months if she has. Jokes. I'm only joking, Sherilyn, if you're watching. Nothing personal against you. Only joking.
Or you can get the paperback.
I know one of our group members wanted to know if they could get it in Tasmania. Is that the right place?
I don't have that list on my it's through Amazon, and I didn't see that on there. So
Okay, I know that.
Tasmania. Vanda's gone international. International bestseller, Vanda Knox.
Also, can I just ask you one more question? Just have a lady in the group.
Of course.
She wants to know what does the house feel like now? The energy, like what's the energy like around it? If you go outside, like what do you get from the house?
So the house to me is just, I don't feel their presence in the house. I just feel the house is sad. This is a sad house. And so it's kind of like falling apart a little bit.
No shit. There was a triple murder in the house. Well, at least one murder that we know of. Possibly 3, maybe 4. We can't really pinpoint where the actual murders took place because there's so many lies. Chris tells lies, so we don't know. Oh shit, the house feels sad. Gonna be, I'm H-A-P-P-Y, I'm H-A-P-P-Y, I know I am, I'm sure I am, I'm H-A-P-P-Y. No, it's not gonna be like that, is it? Come on.
There's not any upkeep on it. But like I said in another interview, what I did, because there was so much energy in this house, so many people are projecting so many things, even in my house, in the living room and where Chris did his interview or was
Right, was he standing right behind where you're sitting now?
He cloaked just down the hall just a little bit.
That's crazy to think that he was in your house and in your energy and stuff, isn't it?
Yep, he was right there. And so many people have projected that and looked at it. And so when I came into the house, I just said, I'm going to take only positive energy. And I'm going to sage and do my prayers and do my rituals and make sure that I fill this house, full of what I believe in and the goodness and the good things. And since I've done that, and it's occurred since 2019 in March.
So I'm confused. Is it her house? Is it Nate's house? Does Nate still live with his mum? Or does his mum live with Nate? Has she moved in with him? I'm well confused. Or has it always been her house and Nate's freeloading? Because he looks a little bit old to be still at home with mum. But you don't know. Some people stay with their mum and their dad for health reasons. They stay on to help their mother and their father. There could all be a whole host of reasons why he's still there or she's moved back in with him. So I'm not judging that at all, but it's not very clear. It's not made very clear to us because she talks about it like it's her house. I was under the impression it was Nate's house. Put in the comments if you know.
I've had a lot of different interesting manifestations, and I have some very interesting orbs. I've had some whispers and different things occurring, but it's all positive. It's very, very positive. So it's like there's next door, the energy, whatever they felt, whatever is going on is probably still there, like in a hologram. That's what I believe. Yeah, that energy stays. And then so it's not necessarily a person in there, but it's just the energy of what occurred and those horrible, terrifying feelings. And then but my house is kind of the opposite. So I kind of put us in a bubble, my house and the community. And then I might have some of my orbs coming out because they're really interesting.
It sounds like it's a very Just I don't know. I'd love to like be feeling stuff like that. I would personally.
That's kind of interesting. And I'm like, I have almost like that Vulcan logical mindset. So I'm like, oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm such a logical thinker, and I have to have so many sources. And,
but you sound so in tune with yourself. You know what you're thinking. You know what you're feeling, and you're very confident in the way that you bring it out. So, and I think that suits you down to a T, because you look like a nice lady, and you sound like a nice lady, and you write like a nice lady. So, like you're the full package, really, Wanda.
Well, I've studied religion, like I said, in different traditions for a really long time. And that kind of gives you a different, a larger worldview, you know, and kind of a
open mind.
Right. I totally have an open mind. And I do not believe that any one person's opinion is more valid than anybody else's.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But I do believe that
I don't want to get into a religious debate, but I think if you follow one religion and you're not open to an interpretation of other people's way of thinking, other people's ideologies, and you're only tied to that one religion, I think that shows that you've got more of a narrow mind than an open mind. If you have got your own faith, but you're open to the idea of someone else having a different faith, and I don't want to go too deep here because there's certain faiths that you shouldn't really be open-minded to, but in general, most of the faiths that are out there and ideologies are fine. But surely, if you're dead set on one way of thinking, that shows to me that you're more narrow-minded than open-minded. Now, she doesn't say whether she just follows one religion or not, but I'm not going to go down my own personal feelings because it opens up a can of worms. But am I a man of faith? Yes. Am I in church every Sunday? No. Am I open to the fact that other people have got their own ways and their own ideologies and their own versions of their own faith? Yeah. Do I have a problem with it? No. Everybody should be allowed to have their own way of thinking. And that is what's wrong with the world. Everyone thinks that everybody's got to agree with them because they get offended. Well, just because you're offended, it doesn't mean that you're right. And when did all of a sudden being offended mean more or matter more than anything else? Being offended, for some reason, has become the number one thing that people are scared of, apart from racism. That's a whole different another story. I was only talking about religion in this part because she mentioned about being open-minded. So I'm discussing about being open and closed-minded. I'm not discussing the religious part of it, okay? So please don't have big discussions about religion in the comments, because I'll have to take them all out, or YouTube will flag them anyway. If it's religion or politics, YouTube will flag them and they won't get seen.
Go ahead.
I have a question. When were you actually nervous moving into the house, or was it just something you kind of made peace with before you did move in?
So I wasn't nervous at all to move in. I almost felt like I was a stabilizing force for my family. So
I know we don't want to really talk about Nate and what happened, but I do just want to ask one question. Like, is he okay, like mentally and stuff? Is he getting on nicely and just, you know, making the best out of what he's been down?
Yeah, he's doing really well. Him and his family. He did need to move away from here. It was a lot.
Of course.
I do feel sorry for him, but it couldn't have bothered Nate that much because he went on main network television. Like, if somebody asked me, do I want to go on Dr. Phil, or do I want to go on ITV if you're in the UK, or This Morning, or any of these programs, do you want to go on the program? I'd be like, no. You know, if I was affected by a murder or a case that I was involved in or I was looking into, I wouldn't want to be associated with any sort of fame. Now, if someone asked me as a YouTuber, or a content creator rather, if one of the networks asked me, would I give an interview as a content creator because I studied the case? I might do that. I'd have to think about it. I'm not really one from being on TV and making appearances and getting fame out of these sort of subjects. So I find it hard to believe that it affected him that much that he had to move away, but he was prepared to go on television and talk about it. It don't jive with me. I'm not saying he didn't have it hard, and I'm not saying that it didn't affect him. I'm not saying that at all, because it was bound to affect him. Am I being too harsh?
think
I
she's on a
don't know
delay.
what day it is. Carrie's in a world of her own
She
down
knows
there on the left.
Did you want to ask a question, Carrie? Carrie, you're going to have to put it in the comments because your reception's not very good.
Poor old Carrie, it was a waste of time here coming on this. She hasn't been able to hear, and then when she could hear, she was interrupting. And now they want her to participate. She still can't hear them. Poor old Carrie. Feel sorry for her.
How's everybody else doing in the neighborhood?
So everybody's kind of over it. Several people have moved. And so the new neighbors have came in, and so they're just, everybody's just kind of done.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
I could quite imagine that a few would want to move away after that, because it would just be a nightmare. People just turning up all the time, wanting photos, selfies. I would imagine that it may affect the price of your house, something like that happening. Maybe not too much, because it's a nice area. But I can imagine why people would want to move out. But then you've got the other side of the coin, because the people that move in have probably moved there because of that reason. So the ones that were moving in to replace the ones that have moved out are probably people that are interested in it. So that brings it with it its own problems, doesn't it?
Randy, do you think the house is going to sell anytime soon?
So I think there's just as far as what I've heard, there's a $6 million lien on it. And so I think that they would have to settle with the Rusiks and at some point. So I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm not sure. I know
it's going to be crazy, isn't it?
We know the Millers moved in. We know they had domestic violence against Chris Miller. I think he was even put in jail for it, allegedly. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that. But I know that the police were called there for domestic violence. And I think then they moved out, and somebody that, or whoever moves in there, or whoever's moved in there now, rather, I think they've kept quite a low profile from what I've seen. And you would, if you moved in there, you would, if you were any sensible person, you'd just want to have a low profile. I mean, personally, I wouldn't move into that house. I don't know how anybody would want to move into that house. And to actually pay to move in there is insane, if you ask me, but that's a totally different conversation.
the lights.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the lights popped on. Well, it was, I think when they were working on it before, they were there during the day and they left all the lights on when they left, and then the electricity went off.
Right.
So when they turn the electricity back on, every light pops on.
I never knew that. I know. I saw a video. I posted a video of the other day, and it looked. There's like a shadow walking across. You know, it was very weird. It was a proper solid shape, and it was a proper solid movement, and it moved from the left window to the right.
Really?
Now, I would never sit there and say it's anybody or it's this or it's that. I would never say that. But what it was solid and it moved. I'm sure somebody said that your area, wasn't it built on an Indian?
So that was the what people had said in the neighborhood. Something happened to them. And I honestly believe, and I'm like, again, I disclaimer, no one needs to believe what I believe. Right. So I honestly believe that people, because time is different, that, spirit might get stuck and they might feel like this just happened to them. This just occurred to them. And I think when you have an unexpected death, a tragedy, war, whatever, it's like a shock.
There's so much. There's that much information. That's how these people get to come out with these theories and the conspiracies, because there's literally just so much to throw around. And these people are going to like the depths of the digs of the scummiest places of Earth, to pull out their content and stuff in.
We've only known certain things, like the Earth is round, or now they're saying it's flat again, but whatever.
Oh God, here we go. I hope she's not a flat earther, switching it off if she's a flirt.
There are so many things, and then all of a sudden we figure it out, and they're like, oh wow. So the idea,
was that easy?
the idea that we figured everything out is nonsensical to me. It just doesn't even, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, that's
On a personal opinion, do you think anybody else was involved, Wanda? Do you think anybody? Do you think Chris's confession in Wisconsin was the truth? Because that's what I believe to be true, personally.
Yeah.
We're not going to go too deep into it, but my personal belief is that the Wisconsin confession was the real confession. Spiritually, do you believe that to be true?
I believe that's true only because that is I don't know for a fact.
I think he added stuff in. I personally feel what tells the truth is he said things that he wouldn't have had to say. He didn't have to say Bella said this. He didn't have to say they had sex. He didn't have to say about the mascara. It's those things. I think those tiny details are the truth, because I think it, like you said, you're too busy thinking, how am I going to get out? You're not implicating yourself more. And
I don't think that at all. I think he just said what people wanted him to hear. I don't know why he said they had sex, or maybe they did have sex, but he said she was face down. I find it hard to believe she was face down. He's just told too many lies for me. I just don't think you can take anything from it.
that was the confession, absolutely. I think too much detail, and I think people are skipping over the little details, and that's where they're missing the truth.
Yeah, I feel like that. And like I said, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah,
then
none of us will ever know, I don't think.
I also kind of feel like he did try to smother the girls in their rooms. And the only reason I say that is because he did not like conflict. He did not want to have any conflict no matter what.
You know, Shanann would have picked it up.
And that would have been the simplest way. And he does say in his confession, or when they go to Wisconsin, that's when the nightmare began, was when Bella walked in.
Right.
So, you know,
and that's too much detail, isn't it? That's just something you wouldn't think about saying, and it just don't make sense.
Well, and then the systematic part for me with him was the fact that he later said that, so he took the girls to the birthday party on Sunday.
I can't understand why, though. If Shanann's away from home, why didn't he do it in the period of time between getting home from the party and Shanann being home? Why did he wait until later? Because the only thing I can think of is, obviously, when Shanann comes home, she is going to want to see the kids straight away because she's been away, yeah? So she's been away on a trip. Even if the kids are in bed, she's still going to want to see her daughters. That's the first thing she's going to want to see. So if he's already killed them by then, which I don't think he did, because then he'd have to kill Shanann straight away. Whereas if they're both alive, he can take care of Shanann whenever he wants between then and the morning. Maybe even second guess himself. It's just a weird version of events. And I still don't think he had enough time to do everything at that site, that oil site, the next morning. It is a weird one. The more you think about it, the more questions come up.
And they asked him, oh, Bella got to go to the birthday party. Did she get to eat cake? And he's like, no, I didn't give her cake because she's of the gluten.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Boy.
But then he came out and said, well, I knew that what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Like,
so why would it matter if she had the cake or not?
So he was so systematic. And then when he explained how, what he did in the morning, he knew his regiment right down to where the Cheerios went. I mean, he was just this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. And so I don't think he colored outside the lines very often. And so for me, looking at it logically and not involved emotionally, it makes sense. That story makes sense. The Wisconsin story. So, but like I said, I don't know. No,
this is just all about personal opinions. We're all entitled to our own personal opinions, and I think as long as you're respectful, I really, really don't see what the problem is. We can have conversations like this as adults and stuff. It's all for a good cause, and we know who the victim is in this case, and that's why I love doing what I'm doing, because I've met so many people that have the same connection, and I know I'm not on my own. I don't feel like such an idiot for having all these emotions and feelings, and over people that I've never met before. I don't really feel that much of a widow as much, because I've been introduced to a whole community that think the way I do. Well, majority of us. Yeah,
just be careful though, because there's a lot of people that will turn on you as well in this community.
We're here for Shanann.
Absolutely.
And we've had, I went out the other day, there was a lady from Nebraska having breakfast in her car, and then somebody from Wisconsin, there's somebody from Kansas, there's every day, Texas. When a truck driver came by, when Nate was still here, and he's like, oh, stop by on the way to, I've got a load, and I stopped by to see the house. So
Wow.
it's a huge phenomenon, you know, and so many people are so interested.
I'm going to stop it there because there's another hour of the interview to go. If you want me to carry on with this tomorrow, put in the comments Vonda Part 2 or just put Part 2. Thank you to Dashtronic for sponsoring the video. Thank you to the members and the mods. Gratitude, your video will be coming soon for Patreon only. There's one paid member in Patreon, so I've got an exclusive video coming for you that's too sensitive for YouTube. I've got 42 members that are on the free access in Patreon. There's free videos over there. There'll be a members video coming soon for YouTube as well. And I should have a new podcast up and out by tomorrow. Thank you everyone. You mean the world to me. I love you all. Remember, these cases, it can be emotional and stressful. But most of all, don't have nightmares. Paddy out. Just a quick message to everybody that's rejoined after last month. I lost 30 members. Most of you have rejoined now, so thank you so much. The main thing was getting the channel back. Thank you, everybody. I'm melting, I'm melting. The studio lights are killing me. Plus the sun outside. I've just had to shave nearly all my dog's hair off. The German Shepherd, he's overheating. I've had to put him on factory settings and reset him because he's just overheating. He's too hot, so I've had to shave it all off. He looks like a rabbit now, not a German Shepherd, but I've got the mix. Most of you see my dogs, the mix. He's looking at me going, when's it my turn? When do I get a shave? Bought ice cream and it's melted. The whole tub's melted while I've been doing this. Lost a month's money as well because of the hacker, but at least I got the channel back. A whole month's worth of money though. Got it. Never mind, onwards and upwards. Thank you for the super chats in the live. Yesterday was it, or the day before? Go check out the live stream. Thanks everyone.
Can't remember what it's called now. But so no, scrub that. You can't get mixed more. How sick can you get?